Hey, what's up you guys? Yes, welcome to another creepy video. Now today we're going to be talking about something that I am so fascinated by, and that is internet myths. Now myths have been around forever. I mean, back when I was a kid, people were talking about the boogeyman, and he would watch you sleep, and then when you moved down your blanket, he would be right in front of you staring in your eyes. And of course the myth of Bloody Mary, the woman that lives in the mirror, and if you call her name 3 times, she comes out and scratches your face off. Well, myths have just gotten fucking scarier, and that's all because of the internet. Now back in the day, it was just word of mouth, you know, like your uncle would tell you a story that he heard from his uncle, or a kid at school would tell you something scary that they heard from their friend. But now with the internet, the myths have gotten so intense, and nobody really knows what's real and what's not. And today I'm going to be taking you through some of the scariest. And we are going to start with the myth of expressionless. Now this myth spread back in 2012 on Facebook. It was created on Creepypasta, and everybody was talking about it because nobody knew if it was real or not. So here's the story. So back in 1972, a woman appeared in a hospital in nothing but a white blood-covered gown. Now the scariest part, the woman's face resembled a mannequin. It was almost too perfect and had no expression on it. It looked as if there was nothing inside. Now when the nurse asked this woman if she needed help, something terrifying happened.
May I help you?
Now if you couldn't clearly see that, there was a dead kitten inside of the expressionless woman's mouth, and she took it out. So of course the doctors came in and took her back into the operating room, and they strapped her down because they had no idea what she was capable of. And then when the nurses tried to sedate her, she fought back.
Hey, hold her.
Now as all the nurses were fighting with her to keep her in her chair, she looked at the doctor and made a terrifying sound.
What the hell are you?
And then she bit him and ripped out his neck. Now of course everybody started screaming and running, and as the doctor was laying on the ground bleeding to death, he asked her what she was, and she told him. That's right, she whispered, "I am God," and then she was never seen again. Now this is a story that went super viral, and everybody was talking about it because nobody knows really if it happened. But even if it didn't, it's still a really, really creepy story. Okay, so our next myth is especially scary to me because it involves a children's TV show. This is the myth of Mr. Bear's cellar. Supposedly there was a local access channel that had a children's TV show on it that was starring a man in a bear costume. Well, that man in the bear costume was actually a child predator, and he was trying to lure in kids as his victims. Now here is a supposed real clip from this show. Check it out.
Oh, hello children. I didn't see you there. It's so nice to see that you've all made it back in time for my news episode.
I mean, even if that is fake or whatever, it's still fucking terrifying. Now, since the story went viral, tons of people have come forward and said that they know of Mr. Bear and that he's real, and that they know people who have been abused by him. So here is the origin story of Mr. Bear. So back in 1999, there was a young boy named Elliot, and he was obsessed with Mr. Bear's show. So obsessed that he even wrote Mr. Bear a letter. Well, he got a response from Mr. Bear a week later, and it said this. "Dear Elliot, thank you ever so much for your letter. I would love to have you in my cellar. We play games, watch movies, and go fire camping in the middle of the woods. Come to my house at... I look forward to having fun with you. Love, Mr. Bear." Now, of course, Elliot was super excited about this, so he asked his dad if he could take him. Well, Elliot's dad didn't know too much about the show, so thought, well, this could be fun. Let's go. But when they got there, what they found was an empty house that had been roped off by police. Mr. Bear had burned 16 children alive in a pit of fire behind his house. And the man who plays Mr. Bear ran away and hasn't been seen since. Now that one is terrifying, especially because nobody really knows the identity of Mr. Bear, because it's a guy in a costume, so he could have just burned all those children, took off his mask, and blended into society. And I think that's what makes it even creepier. The guy standing next to you at Starbucks or at the movies could also be Mr. Bear. Whew, that one just really scares the shit out of me. Okay, so this next myth we're going to talk about is very famous, and I'm sure you know of it, and that is the myth of the rake. Now, the rake is a creature that supposedly haunts you at night. He's been described as a demon or a vampire, and supposedly seeing him or hearing his voice has actually led some people to commit suicide. So let's talk about what the rake looks like. He's a tall, lanky, pale-looking creature. His eyes are sunken and hollow, and his hands are large like claws. The sounds that he makes are heavy breathing, and then you hear whispering, and then you'll just hear a loud scream. Now, stories of the rake have supposedly been around since the 60s, and there's stories of him supposedly from hundreds of years ago. Now, it's said that he's so silent and so quick that he can sneak into your room at night without you noticing. His favorite thing is to watch you sleep. Now, this is one of the earliest accounts, supposedly, from 1691, and it said, "He came to me in my sleep. From the foot of my bed I felt a sensation. He took everything. We must return to England. We shall not return here again at the request of the rake." Now, there have been tons of stories like this. People saying that the rake told them to do something, told them to kill someone, told them to kill themselves. Well, this story in 2006 is really scary. A woman claimed that her husband grabbed her screaming and woke her up because he saw the rake. Here's what she said. "After adjusting to the dark for half a second, I was able to see what caused the strange reaction. At the foot of the bed, sitting and facing away from us, there was what appeared to be a naked man, or a large hairless dog of some sort. Its body's position was disturbing and unnatural, as if it had been hit by a car or something." Well, that woman claimed that after that, the rake attacked her daughter. And according to her, her daughter's last words were, "He is the rake." I don't know if you've ever had sleep paralysis, but I have. Sometimes you tend to, look around the room and see a dark figure. It happens a lot. Well, some people think that that is the rake, and he's the reason that you're paralyzed. Now, there is a video out there that people claim is the rake, and it is very creepy.
Que sí, collons, que sí. Tia. Escolta. Ho sents o no?
I know, fucking terrifying. Obviously that could just be, fan-made, but still. Just the thought of a creepy thing watching you sleep. I already don't sleep, so that's just gonna make it worse. Okay, now this next myth, I am warning you, has some really intense sounds. This is the myth that somebody recorded the sounds of hell. So back in 1989, a team of Russian engineers were drilling a hole into Siberia for an unknown project. Now the team was drilling and drilling and drilling and going farther and farther into the ground. Now they were incredibly deep, and then they hit something. What they hit was a big open cavity. Now they are super deep in the earth, almost near the center. And what they did was literally crack into what felt like a chocolate bunny, a hollow chocolate bunny, which means what the fuck was in there? So they wanted to see what was in the center of the earth. So they decided to drop in a heat-resistant microphone. Now supposedly when they brought back up the recording and listened to it, what they heard were the sounds of hell. You could hear the screaming of hundreds of people. You could hear the pain. You could hear agony. You could hear sheer terror. It literally sounded like thousands of people being tortured and begging somebody to stop. Now I am about to show you the recording right now, and once again I am warning you, it is incredibly intense. So here is supposedly the sounds of hell. That actually, like, literally gives me goosebumps. Just hearing people in agony, just, oh my god. Now, of course, this is a myth, so it is probably not real. Supposedly there's a movie named Baron Blood, and this was just like an audio clip from it. But either way, just hearing the story and then thinking about it being hell when you hear that audio, I'm actually never going to sleep again. Between the rake and the sounds of hell, fuck. Never seeing my bed. Alright, now this last myth that we're going to talk about, I don't even know if this is a myth because it's real, but this is the myth of Lily E. Gray's grave. Now, as you guys know, cemeteries can be the scariest places in the world. As you're walking around, you realize that you're walking on top of dead bodies. If you say the wrong thing or are disrespectful in the cemetery, the spirits can get mad and follow you home. All in all, cemeteries can be one of the creepiest places ever. Well, there's nothing creepier than this grave in Salt Lake City. There is a grave of a woman named Lily E. Gray, and on it, it says that she is the victim of the Beast 666. And this is not a myth, this is real. Check it out.
The notorious Lily E. Gray, June 6, 1881 to November 14th, 1958. Victim of the Beast 666.
I know. That is real. Like, it's engraved on the gravestone. Now, nobody really knows the truth about this. I mean, the main theory is that she was involved in satanic rituals and it got too far. But besides that, the only thing that people know is that she was a victim of the Beast 666. Well, there you guys go. Those are some of the scariest internet myths. If you enjoyed this video and you want more scary internet myths, please give me a thumbs up so I know. Also, make sure to subscribe to my channel right down below and hit the notification bell because I make new videos every day. And if you want to see more of my creepy videos, I have done tons of them. I did one about scary experiments. I did one about scary torture devices. I will leave a link to a playlist right in the top of the description below. Alright, you guys, have fun sleeping. Say hi to the rake for me.